We are as a nation, the Portuguese come together in a fado song. And who are we? Well, first of all, you should know we are not happy people. That's for a start, the Portuguese. I think one day all the happy Portuguese run away to Brazil, and we kept the sad ones stuck in here. Seriously, the Brazilian people cannot stand fado at all. They are too happy for that. I think like whenever things are difficult there, they samba, they celebrate life no matter what. Here is the exact opposite. These people that only see the glass half empty, that's us. And seriously, and this is a thing that from when we are kids we learn about to be pessimist. And for instance, when you see someone in the morning or whatever in everyday life and you say, hey, how do you do? No one in Portugal answers, I'm fine, thanks. Never. You have to complain about stuff. We don't even have a follow-up for the, oh no, everything is good. It's like shocking. It's like, who do you think you are? No. You complain about stuff. And if you want to be positive, the best way to answer is, well, here we are, as God wants us to be. Seriously, I swear. Or here we are, one day after the other. Or the most dramatic that I love is, here we are.
How do you say that in Portuguese?
Cá estamos.
Cá estamos.
And you're like, oh, okay. It's never a good thing, right? It's like, here we are.
That's called.
I guess it's our fate to
That's
be
called living in the moment, maybe.
No, I don't think so. And fado, it's perfect for this because we believe it's our fate to be not doing well. Or another one that I love, if you say goodbye to someone that you see often, like in the cafe, and you say bye, see you tomorrow, the answer is always, you never know. You might die, don't forget that. Keep it with you. So, it's always this. I remember when I told my grandparents, they do the whole conversation by themselves, like, oh, how's everything? Not so good, right? It's too hot for tourists. It's too cold for tourists. It's too rainy. It's too... Like, it cannot be right because people don't know how to deal with that. We don't like successful people. We don't like the self-made man idea. In Portugal is wrong. I swear to you. In here, we are never raised to be the best at anything. We are raised to be average, and not even wanting more is wrong. So, for instance, there's a great joke about the Portuguese. When I heard it, I thought it was brilliant. It's about a man that sells crabs in a market, but he's selling live crabs, right? And he has in a bucket with no cover, and the customer passes by and he says, "Aren't you afraid they're gonna run away?" And he says, "These are Portuguese crabs. If one tries to get out, the other one's pulled." And this is us. Seriously, if someone makes it in life, succeeds, we're like, we don't like them. And the best example I have for this is maybe the only Portuguese person that everyone knows in the world. It's Ronaldo, the football player, right? What's up? Sorry.
Gracias.
Never gracias. It's obrigado. So Cristiano Ronaldo, he was at the best of his career. He was the best player of the world. He won this and that. I don't follow football, but here it's impossible not to follow Ronaldo, right? And I remember this.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's ruining your talk. He's ruining your talk.
Yes, totally. When he was at his best of his career, I remember journalists interviewing people after the game, right, saying, how did you find the game? How did you think of his performance? And if it was a foreign person, they would answer about the game, right? Like, great guy, he runs like no one else, he scored his best goal of the year. If it was a Portuguese person, it would be like, I don't like his new haircut. I don't like his earrings. He's too arrogant, celebrating. But now, his career is going down the drain. We like him a lot. He's one of us. Seriously, when he misbehaved with his last team and now he's in, Saudi Arabia or wherever he's playing, and he's not the same as he used to be, right? He's old for a football player. Now we're like, oh, poor Ronaldo, come back home. We love you. It's crazy, this. And this is fado, explained. Like, fado means fate. It comes from the Latin, fatum, and it is really accepting our fate and not wanting more, not fighting it back. We sing it instead of doing something about it. And the fado, no one knows where it comes from. there is a theory that suggests this is the Portuguese blues, and probably it was created by the enslaved people that the Portuguese took from Africa to Brazil to work in sugar plantations, and this used to be their work songs. Some people say it comes from the Moorish feeling when the Muslims were kicked out of the noble area, and they would look up and they would say, Inshallah, we lost our city, we lost our future, but here we stand. And some people say it comes from the people of Alfama and the coast of Lisbon, because being a harbor, this is a place of people going away all the time, people being left behind all the time. And especially in here, in the working class area, you can imagine there were people going away for good, because this was a place. Imagine when Portugal was that big harbor that I was telling Lisbon, in the age of discovery, is one of the biggest harbors of Europe. Portugal had less than 1 million people, and it had to keep. Go ahead. It had to keep trading posts and colonies in the Portuguese Empire times. Portugal included trading posts or colonies from Brazil until Nagasaki and many places in the middle. How do you keep these places with only 1 million people? You really have to send away all the men of this country. And so Portugal became a country made of women and children that said goodbye to their husbands, their sons, their lovers, sometimes never to see them again. So we think it's the cry of these women that created the fado song. And for instance, I was starting by telling you that the water is our connection with the world. It's what made us build this empire and the golden age of Portugal. But for the poor people, for the working class, it was a big loss. There is a poem in Portuguese by a Portuguese author that goes like this. It in Portuguese, of course, but translating it will be something like this. O salty sea, how much of your salt are tears from the Portuguese? Because people that saw this, they leaving, they suffered, right? It's a feeling of loneliness. And there is a feeling, a very Portuguese feeling that explains all of this. And there is a word that I don't know if you ever heard. It's called saudade. Saudade is considered the fifth most untranslatable word in the world. So there's no direct translation in any language, but it would be a mixture between longing, missing someone, but you mix that with nostalgia, mix that with melancholy. But you mix all of this with a bit of hope and happiness, but you blow that away. And what stays is saudade. And this is behind each fado song and each Portuguese person, we believe. Since the first ever written poems and lyrics and letters, the word that always comes up is saudade. And it's the word that no one can translate. So it's really about something very Portuguese. And imagine you are living in the 1500s in Alfama, and you are sent to work in a ship to India, or to Japan, or to Indonesia, or it's like you don't even know what this means, right? You have no idea of what's out there. And if the ship wrecks, it's not the captain that sinks with the ship, right? It's the workers down there. If they starve because they lack food or water, it's the workers, it's not the captains. And where are the workers from? From here. And so imagine that in every trip to India, 500 people at least would die in every trip. One in every 4 ships would sink. To give you one that you know, maybe Ferdinand Magellan, you know, when he did a circumnavigation of the world, 250 men left, 18 came back alive. And he was not one of them, by the way. So this was very dangerous. People would go in these trips around the world because they were desperate, they were starving, they were forced to go. And imagine you arrive in India in the 1500s being from Alfama. It's like a new galaxy. You have no connection with anything. There's no language you can speak. People, the workers, cannot read or write. You cannot send a WhatsApp to your family saying, oh, I got here, this is great. A picture, a postcard, nothing. There's no connection. Suddenly, there is 1 million of Portuguese people spread around the world, and the only thing that connected us was saudade. This hope that you will get your reality back, but you don't really believe in it. And this is saudade, and this is fado. We say it's our fate. It's our fate to accept this. And then meanwhile, in Lisbon, on the rich part of the city, they were building the richest city of Europe, with the biggest concentration of churches, royal palaces. The most expensive opera house in the world was built there. What happened at the peak of the Golden Age? The earthquake destroys the whole city of Lisbon. Right when we finish it. What's the only place that survives? The poor people's area. So of course people with power and the church said, you see, don't wish for more. Accept that we're humble and poor, because this is what God wants from us. So don't wish for more. Don't want that, because that's going to be punished one day. We survive because we are here living the humble life. And then back to modern times, what happened after the recovery of Lisbon, etc. We are back at our feet, a dictatorship. A dictatorship that lasted until my parents' generation, the longest of Europe. A dictatorship that was isolated the country from the rest of Europe. A dictatorship where it was illegal for people to be in a group of more than 3, to give you an idea, until 50 years ago. If we couldn't be here, this would be a conspiracy against the state. A dictatorship where they abolished all the self-expression, like any works of art that were not propaganda of the regime or aligned with the regime, were illegal. And where we had political prisons, concentration camps, all of that included until 50 years ago. So basically, and they would pay people in every village of Portugal to work for the political police, to listen to people's conversations at home or work. We are still pointing fingers today. So basically, for 50 years almost, people are forced to be stuck at home with their mouths shut. What is the only thing that survived because it has no control? Fado. Because fado comes from the brothels, comes from the underworld, comes from the place that no one dares to come in. And so, Salazar actually tried to forbid fado because they didn't want people to get free here singing and playing, but they couldn't. And so instead, he declares fado the song of Portugal, because fado is precisely about these people that are poor, humble, and accept that and don't want anything else. And so fado became the face of the poor Portugal in the times of the dictatorship. So when the dictatorship fell, actually the people turned their backs on fado because it was associated with this time that we wanted to forget. The diva of fado, a woman called Amalia, she sang fado absolutely everywhere in the world, from Australia to Canada, and suddenly she had to move out of the country because people could no longer stand that. And only now we are making our peace with fado again, and going to the fado house is more popular than ever. But this is what you can expect when you go to a fado house. It's a very solemn moment where the singers are normally dressed in heavy clothes, singing with their eyes closed and passing this emotion. And the best fado singers are the ones that get saudade to you. And you don't need to understand Portuguese at all to get the saudade feeling. And suddenly sometimes they start crying and you start crying, and this is when they get you. This is when we get to the fado feeling and the saudade feeling. And when you are depressed, then you can have citizenship. That is what we like to do, to go out at night to cry over our food. Yes. But so this is what I wanted to tell you, that fado is much more than just a musical genre. So in fado houses you can never speak during fado. You cannot dance. You cannot do any noise because it's considered this very intimate feeling, feeling of exposure by the singers and the musicians. It's very special. And there are many different types of fado places. Expensive places where you have professional fado singers singing for you, where you have to go for dinner and stay around 3 hours or 4 hours. Many different fado singers will start singing, or places with fado vario, which is fado from the streets, family-run places where you go and everyone that knows how to sing, it's different every night, shows up and sings. Sometimes the cook comes outside of the kitchen and he's a fado singer. The waitress stops and she's a great fado singer. So it's an old lady passes by and she joins for fado, and that's a different experience. And now there are certain places where you can go just for the fado show without dinner. They created that for you guys. So it's from 6 p.m. You can go for the fado show. It's 1 hour. They just sing. They give you a port wine, 1 hour, and you are done. So it depends. And then, of course, fado is live in the street. So you pass by Alfama, some of the places that we were in, and they will be singing with open doors. So if you just pass by, you can hear it. Do you have any questions?